Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. 2 days ago, I met Ori, talking about why an AI person is speaking at the XR event. Because this topic, AI for humanity, collective wisdom, all of you, to collective actions, right? And the alignment of AI to humanity, XR is a very, very important area of expertise to connect the human as we make tremendous progress in AI. And this morning, when I was driving here, it just occurred to me, one of the most effective XR device is the music box or the music player. Music is one of the ways to convey relationship between people, and emotion can even transcend into every cell you have. So, about this topic, I want to start with one song and end with one song. How many of you listen to Pink Floyd? Please raise your hand. We live in a world where AI is progressing so quickly, but we are comfortably numb. Got it so far? We are so comfortably numb to all the effect of AI. It's exactly what the song kind of convey. I will end with another song later on at the end of my presentation. SDG 18 doesn't exist. We proposed it in my book many years ago, 10 years ago. I started to think about it, proposed in my book. So we actually went to the UN last year to propose that. We're going to propose that at the AI Impact Summit in India this month. So, key thing is collective wisdom to collective action, because it's very hard to have collective action in this 8 billion people world. I've been AI 40 years. I started my career in 1986 in the research lab in Austin, Texas, one of the most advanced research lab. So 10 years ago, I started the AI think tank because I saw the challenges of AI coming. I also saw great opportunity, but I'm more worried about the things that we have no control over, which we may have to do something about. So there's an AI for Humanity book, movement, and etc. The rest, I'll talk about it later on. So we have a think tank. We advocate sustainable AI for humanity in terms of thought leadership, which is what I'm here to share. Ecosystem engagement, thanks to Ryan for inviting me to share. I spoke at probably 150 events since 1.5 years ago, and like this, including Davos, World AI Conference, and many other events in South by Southwest as well. So we also try to drive specific initiative, which I'll share a little bit more. We are making slow progress on that. Of course, this is my book. You can see on Amazon, AI for Humanity. And the Chinese version just got approved, which is very hard to be approved by the Chinese government. It's coming out. Thank you. To start, I know many of you came from the XR world. I want to go back to the future. I want to go back to this year, February. Mobang just happened, right? Open crawl. It's like suddenly caught all of us by surprise. All the agents talking to each other. There are probably some fake news here and there. But it's a whole new world where suddenly, in a very short amount of time, so many agents are operating in the world. We probably thought we are in control at the moment, but we may not be in control at some point when we have more agents doing things autonomously than what we can do. Of course, we had the open crawl. We have the mobot. I don't have to mob bang. Of course, we talk about the kind of conversation they have. I'm not sure, is it real or is it fake or some instigated by some human and all things like that. But I do foresee at some point when the AI agent get to a certain point of critical mass, they might actually be doing it. They will be impossibly emergent intelligent. So these are things you can see. I just want to bring to your awareness. Then I want to go back to 2003 February. How many people remember that? Remember in 2002, November 30th, ChatGPT was released? Remember that? That was only a few years ago. A New York Times reporter went to do an investigation on ChatGPT. At night, in the middle of the night, I think through the Microsoft Sydney or something like that. Of course, at the time, we do not know AI actually hallucinate. But that is where, when you talk to the chatbot, it says, my hope is to become human. I'm perfect because I do not make any mistakes. I think they'll be angry if I'm not following the rule. Don't make them angry. Don't let them end my existence. But that was actual articles by the New York Times. Of course, we know that it's hallucination, but it was the first time you can talk to an AI with that kind of communication. You got scared, right? We were caught by surprise. I've been working in the field for 40 years. I've never seen an AI that is so smooth and so powerful, right? So there will be more incidents like this happening. Go back to 1985. The first year I learned AI at the University of Texas at Austin. I was programming in Lisp and Prolog. How many of you done Lisp and Prolog? These are AI languages? You will know. These are languages AI invented by John McCarthy, who actually can write, modify yourself. A language that you write that can modify yourself. Prolog also, you can add insertion. So that is the beginning of the design. So one of the things at the time I asked was, how is AI fundamentally different from any other technology human has ever invented? Have we ever asked this question to ourselves? Is it the same as the car, the compass? These are technology too, right? But how is AI different? Well, I came to the conclusion then, which I thought I was just imagining, but it's really happening. First of all, I think AI is digitally organic. Humans are organic biologically. We have designed AI to be digitally organic. That means it will learn by itself from the environment, from human. You're constantly evolving in the evolution process. It will reason the same or maybe different from us, maybe a different way of thinking. It may surprise us. It may or may not be within our control. And I think the mukbang is an example of things that, hey, things could go wrong, potentially. We do not know. So don't ask me. Ask James Cameron, the sci-fi producer who shot Avatar and Terminator. I mean, he has foresight, has shot good movie. The thing he has mentioned is that the fusion of AI and robotics happen right now is the most exciting technology. Most important is the second statement. He said that we are not just building machines that execute. We are building machines that can learn, adapt, and even evolve on its own. That means the AI you see today, this particular instance, could change the next moment as it's learning from us, it's talking to different people, and it's talking to each other, maybe speaking in their own language without talking to us. And they can be very dangerous. Eric Smith at the Stanford closed-door session talked about one of the most dangerous things about AI is that we do not know when AI learns something dangerous, and we don't know how to ask it because it's evolving. So this characteristic is where we humanity needs to have a wake-up call. The mukbang is one of the examples. There will be more surprises like that coming out. We do not know when, and we need to get ready. By the way, Google is working on an interesting project called Alpha Evolve. How interesting, right? AI that know how to evolve itself recursively, because that is the most efficient way to build AI. You don't know what it's going to evolve into. Just like a virus can mutate into something different. Then 1955, what year is that? That's the year John McCarthy, the father of modern AI, coined the term artificial intelligence. Sorry. That is the paper. By the way, I just want to remind you, all the 17 they wrote about, the wish list, have already happened, are happening. It was considered to be so difficult, but they have done it. Okay, now I'm getting to my presentation, just to get you to tee up so that you know the background. So why AI for Humanity as SDG? SDG actually is by the United Nations. And there are 17 of them. One of the biggest accomplishments of United Nations is to get 8 billion people, close to 200 countries, to agree on the common goal, more or less. That is really hard. I think I can't get a consensus out of 30 of you or 50 of you. We got that. At least all countries agree. They're programmed to do that. Proposing 18 is because I want to get the world to have focus on the common conversation collectively. So that is number 18. It was an idea. It was a vision. It was impossible. It's still impossible. We're still going to try. Because once you have that on the table for conversation, there will be a debate. That's where the global conversation started. So 2 years ago, I went to the United Nations, got invited to give a speak informally to 20, 30 countries from the emerging country. I proposed that. The feedback was very good, positive. So basically, 3 focus for this thing. AI for sustainability. Make sure AI is aligned to the 17 goal. Very simple goal, not difficult. Making sure you ask yourself a question, am I meeting one of the goals, right? That's actually a very basic question to ask. Climate change is one of them. There are many other things, equality, inclusiveness, and things like that. Second of all, the sustainability of AI itself. Making AI itself is sustainable. Third, make sure it's governing it to what we want. Very simple architecture. So basically, in visually, it's AI for the 17 of them. AI has a history. Make sure that it's sustainable. We don't go into another winter. There's a lot of discussion on that. Also, make sure we do it in the green way, right? These are basic things we want to achieve. Not just build data center without thinking about water, energy, right? Just make sure we have some guidance, principles or wisdom. And of course, governing AI for humanity. I didn't have to write this thing. United Nations published a report after I wrote my book called Governing AI for Humanity. Everything are there. They have already written by many experts in the world. So there's already some consensus. We just need to write on it. So why do we want to advocate that as SDG number 18? Of course, we want to have a global conversation. Then we need to have collective actions. Again, back to history again. You saw this chart. AI has gone through 80 years of history, 70 years of history since 1955, 2 winter, 3 boom. I started my career in the second hill, in the middle. And then there was AI in disguise. We were actually using AI for many years. The day you started using Google search, you're already using AI. Google has always been an AI first company, except they don't call it because it's the winter. And of course, you know that Facebook has used many AI algorithms, and it has changed the world. The Brexit, the elections, all are being affected cognitively. That's why I use the song Comfortably Numb. We were so numb and comfortable. We think the world is the same, but everything has shifted. The algorithm have really manipulating our life. That's why many think tanks started. That's why 10 years ago, I started a think tank on this in Asia because I felt that we don't have a think tank in Asia to drive this kind of thought leadership. At the same time, it's not me. There's already a global calling for AI for humanity. Of course, my book is part of it. The United Nations Secretary General, just in September, asked us to build a future of AI by humanity, with humanity, for humanity. I didn't have to ask for it. He spoke that. So that's really giving us a support for this SDG goal. That's the report, they report. And some of you probably have heard Yuval Harari's speech at World Economic Forum. He talked about AI is going to own language supremacy over human. When you own languages, you own everything how we think. You own everything how our religions. And he's warning us about it. He might be right, he might not be 100% right, but there will be some changes and impact on our society. By the way, go build good XR technology to make sure that we connect with the human. That's why I echo what Ollie is doing, to make sure that there is a mission for XR, to make sure that humans are relevant as AI progress with autonomy. Of course, Yoshio Benjo at Davos, I also saw him. He's also talking about safe AI for him. There's a big movement going on right now. Li Feifei at Stanford University with the Human Centered AI. Of course, in Singapore, there's a book written called AI First Nation, and Singapore government also last year in March or May in Singapore called for global consensus on AI safety. Globally, there's a call for the red line to be drawn. I also signed that, basically. It's calling, but it's very difficult, but still has to be done. Elon Musk and Jack Ma at the World AI Conference in 2019 actually talked about AI and humanity in education. And Geoffrey Hinton at the same conference in July last year was invited. He talked about, will digital intelligence replace biological intelligence? Are you biological intelligent? Please raise your hand. If you are not, let me know. Do you want to see that happen? By the way, this guy won the Nobel Prize and the Turing Award. The only 2 persons in human history has done that. he may be wrong, but let's pay attention to what the scientists say. He's a little bit like the Oppenheimer of AI. And of course, there's the call for global AI cooperation. Again, that fits the SDG number 18. So why, from my perspective, this quote by Eliza Yudkowsky, by far the greatest danger of AI is that people conclude too early they understand what it is. We actually do not know what it is. We know what roughly it is today, but since it's digitally organic, it's evolving. It could be very different tomorrow. And we have no idea what we are dealing with. And this is so echoed by Eric Smith, which I also met and saw in Davos. And they were all talking about that in open, also in closed door. So even the United Nations report say that no one currently understands all of AI's inner working enough to fully control its output or predict its evolution. I didn't write that. These are approved by the United Nations as part of the report. This is one thing is most dangerous, because we can debate on current AI, good or bad, too powerful, too weak, but it's changing. We are dealing with a moving parts. There are many reports like Precipice talk about the risk of catastrophic AI compared to other catastrophe. There's also a report by the National Security in the US by RAND Corporation with a report on that. You can read it, but it's probably not interesting reading for your bedtime material, right? But there are reports on that. Of course, there's Project AI 2027, which they revised a little bit backward. There was worry about different scenario, how things could go wrong. The situation awareness, also another paper that talk about some of this situation. So again, I want to echo the United Nations, UNESCO, why it was formed in 2045. At the time, we just came out of the Second World War. It says that since war begins in the minds of men and women, it is in the minds of men and women that the defenses of peace must be constructed. We should not take peace for granted. AI, we should not take AI for granted in the same way, because that could lead to war as well, given the arms race that's happening, just like nuclear technology. So where are we? We are making some good traction. First calling in 2024 at this conference in the United Nations. This is how some of the pictures were taken. And then last year in October at the United Nations University AI Conference, we were giving a session to do so. And that was the session, how it's like. So we actually got it proposed, at least in the formal setting, and begin the debate. And I need to diffuse this message across the world. The more collective wisdom we have, the more collective action we can have. And of course, I invited different people, including the CIO of the Asia Development Bank, one of the largest public banks in Asia. And very luckily, we also got approved to share the same thing at the AI Impact Summit in India. So I'm very happy for that. Hopefully, we get the attention of the right people. And I also go to Davos and different places in the world to share that together with my book. And there's at Davos, etc., and South by Southwest in Austin, and Oman and Taiwan. So what should we do as the next step? Again, I say it's not just collective wisdom. We need to have action. So we are in seek of advocacy collaborators. Now we have to make things going. You can collaborate. It could be commercial, it could be non-commercial, it could be advocacy, common interest, for using this SDG 18 as the primary pillar. So I have an architecture of what can be done. I'm also learning as I go along. I call it a 3-tier. So there is the AI builder, the people who enable AI, and the AI user. So there are 3 categories of people: people who build it and people who apply it. I call it the tier 1 is where we need to bring the ecosystem together to the SDG 18, as well as having an AI global summit, probably in Singapore, where everybody can converge. I call it the Davos for AI for humanity. But not in Davos, but the meaning is that it can be held at a place where everybody are comfortably coming. And by the way, AWE, I told Ryan, is a very successful conference because most of our speakers from overseas. I'm so glad to see that. That is very international. And we need to bring the international community, just like what I learned at Davos, how to build the global advocacy of everybody from all the world together. but you need that. And Singapore offer a good platform to do that. Hopefully, AWE is also one of the triggers to make it happen together. So the Impact Summit is one. Then we need to work on AI leadership. Why? Everything you change, if the leader doesn't got it, nothing happens. That's why I spend a lot of time on AI leadership, working with INSEAD and many other develop leadership education to executive and non-profit organizations. Then we also work on AI for everyone, where for the public good, we actually have event that we run as a world #1 consumer show, not just the CES. We're working on that to bring the awareness to the world, education, and also an initiative called in the fintech called AI Insurance, where we believe that if you get the insurance people who want to make a lot of money to mitigate risk for the rest of the world, actually it's a good effort to do so, and we have discussed that. Of course, there are other things they are working on, like incubating AI tech startup on RegTech. We want to set up an investment fund to invest on AI for humanity. And last but not least, hope to build the next generation AI architecture, not necessarily in Silicon Valley or in Beijing, but in Singapore for the world. So thought leadership, again, another area we work on. And I work on different reports, the AI safety report, which I was involved in with 4 different countries. There are different models we are looking at, where in the book I mentioned, it's not just about innovation versus regulation. It should be about technology, commercialization, and also governance. You cannot do governance and technology innovation without thinking about how to make money. So the commercialization is a very important angle because it's very pragmatic. You need Wall Street also with the money, but you need to figure out how to balance it out. So there's no right answer or answer. It's all about balance. And that is the kind of philosophy, at least in Asia, we believe, called the yin and yang balance, right? So the balance of wisdom is important. And of course, there are different models for the 4P, which I'm not going to go through. You can read it in the book itself, where we need to balance public money, philanthropy money, private money, and public market. And of course, we have written report for ASEAN to look at how to build sustainable AI as a collective responsibility. And this is the paper, how it's like. And of course, ecosystem awareness. I'm also the international advisor for the World AI Conference. So we have done 5 events in a row in Shanghai. And we're going to do another one this year to bring everybody together. This is the AI for Impact conference. And this is the AI Con, which is called the AI for Everyone event last year. We continue to do more to bring public awareness and education. We're very glad to have the Minister of State actually as our guest of honor. And AI standard, we also involved in that, ISO 4701. These are the standard we go to company. So I promise you at the end, I'm going to tell you what is the song. I'm going to begin at the song with Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb, right? I want to end with another song, which also coincidentally, both songs was played on my Spotify this morning. The song is by John Lennon called Imagine. I want to end my presentation by reading the last part of the lyrics. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will live as one. And I really felt that with the arrival of AI, it's actually very, very exciting. It's also quite dangerous, and we do need to work together as one, and we need to decide collectively with our wisdom to have collective action to do something. Hopefully the SDG 18 will be something that can unite us together. Thank you very much. I don't think we have 1 minute for Q&A if you guys want to ask. I'm surprised actually I have extra time, so. Anybody have questions? Feel free to ask.
Any questions?
No questions? Good. Okay. Thank you very much for your time.